In today's video I'm going to show you what you can do with the Emperor elements, how you can go about it, because some of you may think that it's only a fussy cutting. It's not actually, because what about if someone cannot fussy cut? I have two mushrooms, for example, right? You love them both, and it is so much easy to fussy cut this one. There we go. We're gonna jump in with our scissors and quickly fussy cut it around it, and voila. The idea number one, tip number one, is to grab a scissor and just fussy cut it around it, get rid of the background, and that's what you are left with. A beautiful image of the mushroom. Here it is, nearly there, nearly there. There we go. Beautiful image of the mushroom for you to use on your journal page, collage book, whichever. There we go, right? But what if someone is not good at fussy cutting? Or what if someone is scared of fussy cutting around these, but you don't want to lose this out? Well, you can leave it as it is. You've cut it out as it is, but you can actually try to somehow maneuver it a little bit of a color with the background. So let's try and let's see if we can actually do that. I have a glue here next to me, and let's try. Now you can as well sometimes maybe decide to do a little bit of this sort of cutting, as in ripping. Maybe this will help out to blend in the image. So let's grab some glue and let's see if we can blend it in, how we can blend it in. I know that a lot of you feels that why do we need background? Background is for those that decide to keep the background because you love it. Background is for those to keep the elements that are difficult to fussy cut. Background is to those who don't want to fussy cut, you don't know how, you can't. Background is also for you to fussy cut it if you wish like it. So I think it's just given as an option, so you can fussy cut your image directly, or you can keep it with the background. And look, we can try to have a little bit of paint going on. Now it's gonna be difficult because I should use, and I will use, a little bit of a gesso before that. So let's grab clear gesso, because it's gonna be much easier to blend in anything. So there, that's especially the edges. That's our clear gesso on top. Voila, dum 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 dum. And even if you will keep this wet-ish, it's gonna be easier for you to use some acrylic paint around it. But let's see, let's try and let's see if we can do that. So I'm gonna grab that cadence paint, and I'm gonna see if I can try to do a little bit of magic around it, just to see if I can somehow gently blend it in. Now you have more time with your project, then you absolutely would keep your color scheme more matchy to this. You will probably find a little bit more gray shade. I'm trying to see if I have any. I have some. You could try to, you know, be a little bit more precise when it comes to choosing the color. Look, a little bit of that gray tone coming in, and you are good to go. Even more, look, even more. I am just showing you, but practically you kind of can just take a little bit of more time with it. And because the actual background is wet, oops, it is so much easier to blend in the colors. Now decoupage techniques are like that, exactly, where you have your background, where you have your tissue as well, but usually napkin, and you're trying to blend in the element. Now when like you can see how much easier it is. Now you don't need to use the finger, you can use whatever. Now you can see that there is some blue, so technically we should, let's say, jump in. I'm gonna grab, oh, I have some Tim's crayons, for example. I don't know if that's the color. Let's say it's similar. Let's grab a touch of that just to see. So I'm gonna grab some bit of color and maybe do a little bit of that, just a touch, just to see if we can have a little bit of join color somehow. Again, if you take more time than myself, you'll be much better at it, finding the actual shades of it and just making sure that this all nicely blend in. But that's what you can do. Just jump in with the colors, jump in with the paint, and try to mix your background with the image and blending in, so you can keep that, and you can be more precise in going into even more details somewhere in there. Use the brush, use the fingers, that like dip it in however it feels right for you. You can do mix of different colors, and then when things are done as well, sometimes one of the good ideas, for example, is to grab a little bit of, for example, inking. Well, technically I should dry this, let's say, just a little bit. So imagine you have a little bit of that ink, and let's say you're gonna grab, there we go, and it straight away gives us the vibe that it is kind of connected, so you don't see as much of the edges. It's just so much easier. I hope that makes sense. I hope you can see that you can do that. There's no problem with it, where you can mix it up the background. What else can be done with our amphora? So we can fussy cut it and glue it down. We can get the background with it. What else we could do? Well, you could grab some paper, for example, like this one, and you may feel that you wish your element to be thicker. That's absolutely no problem. Look at it. Grab your element, put some glue on it, and jump in on some, I have here, for example, watercolor paper, and I love the thickness of it, and I'm gonna grab my scissors and I'm gonna just go around it, and this way you are creating your image in a thicker way, thicker version. It's like more of like a 3D embellishment, where you can use it. You don't always have to have the element to be so thick, but you may do that, and that's absolutely no problem. And straight away you have thicker embellishment to use for your cards, for example, or canvases, because sometimes the flimsiness of the paper may feel that this is not thick enough or flimsy or whichever. I think it's good because for those who really struggle with cutting, the paper is thin enough that it's doable to cut, to fussy cut. Now, that's what we've done. So we have a 3D, fabulous 3D element right now, right? What else could we do? So let's grab a house maybe this time. Let's grab a little house, because on the end of the book we have some cute houses. Maybe we could cut it. What could we cut? No. Actually, yes, why not? Let's say you have this image, for example, right? And you're cutting this one. There we go. And 1 second. Now. There we go. And once more. You can just divide this, and this is your absolute right to do. You don't have to stick with these two elements. They are there for you, but you are good to go with dividing it. That's no problem. And you can keep them as two completely separate images for two different projects, for example. Please excuse my lack of being precise right now, but I'm trying to just quickly show you what can be done without worrying about it, you know, and without thinking that these two things were together belong to each other. Not at all, it's fine. Now, then this was the side. That's fine. Keep this and add your element to the side. Don't be afraid to plan for something on the side. That's okay, you know. And same for this one. Let's finish off the fussy cutting. There we go. There we go. Cute little amphora house. Now you can also keep the background if you fancy it, if you feel like it, or you can just fussy cut it around it. So whatever works best for you. There we go. And you can also, if you feel like it, oh, maybe this time I'm gonna just grab and just put it, what's the word? No word. Marta has no words. Okay, so we blended the background. We fussy cut the element like the mushroom that it's not there, but it's there. Then we could add something on the back. Now, what else could we done? You could actually add in. We divided the image, and it's fine to have them in half. We decided to put this one on the side because it was already created with a side, and that's okay. Now, what else you could do with this one, for example, if you fancy it, you could add the 3D elements on that 3D foam as well on that, and have your elements sticking out thick and fabulous on your project, no problem. And it's thick and it's beautiful and it's gonna stand out like this. You can also use just a glue. Perfect. Is there anything else that we could do? I'm sure there is. And for example, let's have a look at the fairies in bloom flowers. Let's see the flower. Maybe do we have any flower like here that, oh, or butterfly? Let's have the butterfly. There we go. Now don't be afraid to look at your project and thinking, do you know what, I'm gonna fussy cut it and half it. Half your element. It's okay. Now if the antenna is too difficult to cut, I a lot of times, or most of the times, cut out the antennas. They're there, but I don't bother with it. I don't worry about it unless the butterfly is bigger and the antennas are much more bigger, thicker, visible and all, then yes. So don't be afraid to use your image and put it in half. It's fine. And if you don't, and if you will do it, you will see that there is a much more dimension going into your project, because not everything is straight and full on. And this one is so awesome. It is on this side. Lovely. Why not? I'm gonna show you what else you can do. So we're gonna fussy cut our fairy from the fairy book. Some people said, not many, very little, but some people said that there's a small amount of colors. Yes and no, if you think about it. This one is into purples, this one is into blues, this one is into greens and cream. This one is more into creams, this one is more into beige and brown, this one has some pink shades in her, purple, pink, colorful but beigey, vintagey as well. Purple, vintagey, with shades of orange, with shades of green. Maybe sometimes it really depends. More greeny, more orangey, vintagey, more bluey. Yes, they are less in pigment color purposely, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I thought that in the past years we had very limited amount of images that have been into vintage, and usually vintage means brown, and to me I'm not really brown kind of fan. So with my fairies, and not only fairies but other like flowers as well, I decided that the images are gonna be much more subtle in color, because if anyone decides to add some color, they can, and that's the beauty. You can also fussy cut your element and put it on your project and add color directly on the image, or put some gesso first, clear gesso, to prime your element, to prime your image. The thing is that instead of thinking that the palette is limited, you should think that the actual palette is giving us option. Plus, I also love the idea that if you look closely on those images, those fairies, you have some kind of project. I'm telling you, most of these fairies will match every single project, because they are colored the way that you will find some similar color in them. So maybe this not for purple, but this would match a gray project, a white project, an orangey project, a greenery project, a beigey project, a vintage brown project as well. So if you really look closely and think, I think the palette is allowing us to have more options, and as well each image has ability to fit in way more projects than if you're limiting to full on color, and sometimes then it could be too striking. But again, that to be said, it's my personal liking. It's not for everyone. We all have different loves for things, right? And that's normal. Now let me grab some of that, and also I was thinking to do a little bit of cutting with my cutting knives, and let's grab it and let's see how easy or difficult this is gonna be. So I'm using my crafty knife, but this one is more like a pen, and it's not too bad. It's gonna be definitely faster than the scissors and more precise, most definitely. So let's see. Now if you have any great cutting tool of this kind, let me know. I'll test it out. Okay, look, that was pretty fast, isn't it? There we go. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside. Also the book goes on the side, and voila. Okay, so what we can do with our fairy, well, firstly let's glue her down, right? It's gonna be so much easier if we actually will glue her down. So I'm gonna add some glue on her. There we go. And I will actually glue her down. There we go. Oops. There we go. And also what I will do is I will put a layer of gesso on her. There we go. When you prime and put layer of gesso, you're allowing the element to be primed and ready to be colored, which is so much easier with the gesso, and I like that. I do it all the time with all the projects. Now let's dry this quickly. So this is another way what you can do with the Emphara image, Emphara element. So put some gesso, so prime your element, lovely jovely. And if you wish to play a little bit more, add the gesso, but if you don't have to. It's just it's giving you you probably have more options if you prime it, but sometimes it's not possible to prime it if it's a standing out image like this mushroom on a card, and you don't need that, but you could. For example, what we can do, maybe you wish for some extra color, so there we go, no problem. I'm gonna grab the brush to now add the water, and look, you can do a little bit of coloring on the actual image, and because we primed it, it is so much easier. So there you go, you can just color it like that. Lovely. You can do the same color, for example, on the wings to make this more working with each other. Super awesome. Now, what else can you do? If you don't like on the image, you can do a little bit of shading outside. Look how pretty is this. And the image straight away has this kind of feeling because it feels that it's like working together sort of thing. So there we go, and we have a little bit of a primed image there. Lovely. Now, so that's coloring with the marker, for example, but what else can be done? Well, you can doodle. Imagine you can do a little bit of doodles. For example, with pen, you want your little elements to be more striking, no problem. On the wings, no problem. You can outline it as well, for example. Now this pen is great as well because this one, if you will look, it does dissolve with water, so even that, there we go, super awesome, right? And can go here as well, so that's giving us even more shades. But you can just doodle around it and just keep it as a doodled one, and that's perfect. So you can doodle on it, you can add the color. Where's some green? How about adding a touch of green? But this time let's grab this one. So we have this crayon, and we can, I'm sure, add a little bit of that green there. Lovely. Now because and I think this is where you make it your own sort of thing, you know, your own matching more for the project than ever before. Now this black, obviously, because it's black, it dissolves with water, so yeah, with water, so that's why it is. But it's okay. We managed to still show it to you. Darker, brighter, whatever works your way. So you can doodle on it, you can color it with different mediums, of course. You can shade it around it, as we've done. Like the usual shades that we would do a lot of times would be the Inktense pencil. So you can grab the Inktense as well, and let's say make like a floor that she's standing at. And how cool is that? How easy that is. Now it's also doable, possible, because we have primed it. Now what else we could do? Maybe you fancy a little bit of splashes. You can splash your image, no problem. You can grab some white, for example, and splash your image. Absolutely, yes. So we can fussy cut. We can blend with background. You can cut image in half, same as we did with the butterfly, that it's gone, but it was there. The half butterfly, come on, where are you? There we go. Half the image. Don't be afraid of that. You can doodle on it. You can paint / color it. You can outline it. You can shadow it. A shadow shade. Is that the same or different? Shadow shade it. You can add cardstock on the back, or you can add 3D foam, or glue, hot glue. So wow, that's a lot. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 fantastic ways and ideas how to use Emphara elements. I hope this was helpful. I hope this will be like a little tutorial that will sum up everything. If you have any other ideas, let me know. Maybe we can update this video, make a new one. Maybe you can tell me what else do you do. I doodled in black, but you can doodle in white as well, of course, just came to my mind now. I hope this was fun, helpful, inspirational. Let me know what other ways using your paper Emphara. I'm all ears. I wish to hear your thoughts, so let me know. Thank you so much as always, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye for now. Bye bye.